Okay, plane coming down from the North Pole, taking off down over to Australia, doing a nosedive, keeps going, and now a plane's landing in the South Pole, upside down on its roof. But now it's going to keep going, and keep going, and keep going, and now it's back upright, ready to do another nosedive. And then it goes like that, you see. Planes don't fly upside down. I don't think so. Well, it's flat. Exactly. And people need to really, really seriously do this research, because when I flew to Cairns, I flew flat. And when I flew to Perth, I didn't fly sideways like this. No, I didn't. I didn't see a wing down there heading towards the ground and look up and see one sticking in the air like a skyscraper. No. And I know when I flew down to Melbourne for a cappuccino with Abrigo, I didn't do any nosedives, because I know if the lady let go of the trolley at the back of the aeroplane, it would have knocked the captain straight out of his cockpit. And I know that when we tried to take off, there's no way she could push that trolley up that aisle while we're trying to climb up to the North Pole to get to Cairns. Checkmate. Game's over. World's flat. Yeah. That's a good experience.
About that demonstration? We have had previous videos, but so far, it's hard to believe anything. What is this guy cutting? Yo! Is this... Wow! Yo! This butcher is fighting some creature that just woke up. Yo, what's that? Is that a doll? Shit! Man! What's happening here? Oh, man. What the heck? How is that even real? Yo. Yo. Oh yeah, let's see what will happen. Maybe something creepy. Yo. Oh my God. That guy was just lucky, man. What?
Can I blow your mind right now?
Shit.
Okay. We have already been visited by extraterrestrials, and there is tangible evidence of this. Chris is rolling his eyes because I've been talking about UFOs all week. Well, the whole world's been talking about UFOs, so we might as well unpack this. Okay, you've probably heard the expression, to prove the existence of the wind, look for the rustling of the leaves. Well, the same logic can be applied to extraterrestrials and how they have interacted with humans throughout history, right? And there's no better example of this than boats. Okay, I mean, think about it. Metal doesn't float. You can look this up. Metal doesn't float, but the Titanic, the biggest boat in history, which is made of metal, floats. Let that sink in. So we've been mining iron since the 1600s, but then all of a sudden in the 1850s, we decide to build boats out of iron. It just doesn't make any sense. The only explanation is that in the 1850s, something happened that fundamentally changed the way that metal and water interact with each other. And there's really two theories out there, right? To prove the existence of the wind, look for the rustling of the leaves. That's what we're going to do right here. So the first is that visitors came to Earth, and the technology that they used to get here caused such a huge electromagnetic surge that it fundamentally altered metal and water at a molecular level. I don't really buy that, but there's a second theory that is far more plausible and far more interesting, which is that they came here to give us the technology to build these metal boats in order to help us, in order to protect us, because they knew that we were about to face an attack from something in the water. And if you look at the history, this all tracks. It makes perfect sense. Chris is shaking his head. It makes perfect sense. In the early 1800s, we really start to understand dinosaurs, right? And then in the 1850s, we build these metal boats, and then all of a sudden, all of the most credible sightings begin to happen in places like Loch Ness. And if you really want to go down this rabbit hole with me, The Titanic supposedly hit an iceberg, which is made of ice. We all know ice is not stronger than iron. And the boat sank. Well, I don't buy that. Right? If it hit an iceberg, why did we never find it? Why did we never find any pieces of it? We've never found the iceberg, which means the Titanic hit something that was alive and moved out of the way.
That theory
And
is
that it was later confiscated by some
out of this
authorities
world.
after initial tests had been done. It's bigger. This is an adult. Skull is the same, essentially, as the Atacama. Now, what's important about that is that if there are two of these, it rules out a singular genetic mutation of a human embryo. There's no way. It isn't going to happen. Be 1 in a quadrillion chances.
Detective Vladimir Bendlin is investigating a bizarre mummified body found in Kishtim, Russia. Eyewitness Tamara Jr. is taking him to the spot where she claims her mother-in-law found the creature.
Где это место? Покажи.
Села на вот эту сосну. Видишь, что-то там лежит, подошла. И вот увидела вот этого плачущего существа. Я думаю, она приняла его за ребенка и принесла домой. Стала за ним ухаживать.
The following day, Tamara Sr. calls her daughter-in-law to say that she's found a baby in the woods.
Недоверием пошла, когда она мне объяснила, что у нее там находится существо, ребеночек. Зашла в эту комнату и, естественно, увидела это существо. Он был живой.
To Tamara Jr., nothing about the baby seems human. If it isn't human, where does it come from?
Oh my
Я
god.
приехала, уже он погиб.
What type of a baby is this?
As a result, a well-known scientist, Boris Zolotov, steps in and offers to conduct the necessary DNA tests. Bendlin hands over the body to one of Zolotov's assistants. He expects word back within weeks. Months go by, and nothing. Then the story takes its strangest twist yet. Finally tracked down by Russian TV journalists, Zolotov makes this astonishing claim. On the journey back to the lab, his assistant sees flashing lights in the sky. A craft swoops down and blocks the way.
Когда его везли, группа обнаружения, то появились, как говорится, неопознанный летающий объект. И они забрали сущностную основу. Прямо
What?
по дороге.
Zolotov has never elaborated on this brief, puzzling statement, and has refused any further interviews. Bendlin suspects that Zolotov may be hiding another terrifying truth. That he was forced to hand over the creature to the Russian Secret Service.
How did they take him?
Кто-то из журналистов тоже общался с ними. Ну, ему уже они сказали, что мумию изъяли спецслужбы, отобрали подписку о неразглашении.
And lay down new bone and get longer and longer as we get taller and taller as we reach our full mature height. Those epiphyseal plates are consistent with a 6 to 8 year old human child in terms of developmental stage. There is another one. Look at the skull and look at the overlapping helmet-like feature. If you look at the skull sutures and the way a large skull bone comes over to like a point and overlaps, it's identical to the Atacama skeleton. This is from Russia from 1996. A separate small being that was found running around that a woman captured, unfortunately kept it in captivity, tried to feed it yogurt. It died and was subsequently autopsied. I understand that it was later confiscated by some authorities after initial tests had been done. It's bigger. This is an adult. Skull is the same, essentially, as the Atacama.
Oh my god.
Now, what's important about that is that if there are two of these, it rules out a singular genetic mutation of a human embryo. There's no way. It isn't going to happen. Be 1 in a quadrillion chances. Interestingly, it was the assistant of Dr. Gary Nolan at Stanford who had offered to do an honest examination of this genetically, who found this Russian being, and then I had another researcher send it to me. And I recall that in 1996, when I was over in England, I was told about this, but by the time I wanted to go over to Russia to get it. It had been seized and it had vanished. We do not know where it is now.
Yo, what creature is that, man? Is that an alien? A UFO and an alien. Is that like a spaceship flying over the sea? A spaceship over the sea. That's crazy. Oh, and an alien. And an alien just near the beach. This is Kiminaru. This is when Kiminaru. And what's recorded in this video. Why is in the video recorded that this specifically? I think this is a movie scene. What do you think about it? Is this a movie scene or a new man who is recording this video? It's like a large being sold for us here. Remember when anyone is putting on sunglasses? You're obviously a dead Brooklyn that just disappeared. Shit! An alien putting on sunglasses. Does that even make real, man? Are those sunglasses or some maybe like glasses first that bring stuff? Whoa! Who is this guy? Where was it just specifically to this guy? Is he? It's fairly to believe when it can be crazy. I think this is just a movie scene or some scripted film. Why are people running? What's happened? Well, the ship just came. I think this is a movie scene, man. Do you think this is real?